Hey all, welcome back. This is going to be our final segment on the Suzuki. Had it out riding today. Found a few things I had to tweak. Chain was a little loose, minor things like that, but overall it's turned out well. So let's look at what we did. Carburetor had to come off, be cleaned. We had to use some unconventional tools. I've never had to use wood bits to clean out fuel passages before, so that was an education. And we've generally got it set up nice. Spent some time riding today with my son. She's working really good. So real happy with this one. It was easier than I expected. Fuel system problems, I knew we were going to get into. I kind of felt after sitting all those years that I was going to have ignition problems, and we were really lucky and we didn't. And that kept the cost down as well as the hassle, because this has a CDI ignition, an ancient, obsolete form of making things work. So, what did it all take? Well, it took a week worth of putzing around, a couple hours a day. I think we spent $8 on fuel line, and the rest was lying around the shop. So all up, probably cost us $30 to get this 1976 Suzuki 400 TMTS back running. That's a heck of a deal. Most guys, old bike, probably just would have thrown it out. But it's a good old piece. I like vintage equipment. And it's a cool bike. It has a kick like a horse. At my age, getting it started is a bit of a challenge. The 20 some odd kicks I had to do the other day made my hip scream. But now that it's up and running and tweaked a little bit, starts good with 2 or 3 kicks, and the rest of the day it's 1 kick and she's running pretty much. Huge torque. This 400cc 2-stroke has massive torque, and it always did. I've had this bike a long time. We'll talk about that in a minute. But huge torque, not big RPM, but it works really well. And it's a comfortable ride. Yeah, the newer bikes can beat it up, but that's not the purpose. This is for riding with my son. So let's talk a little bit about the bike's history. Now, I bought this bike, my wife and I were figuring it out, in about 1990. See, my father-in-law, who was in his 70s at the time, couldn't walk the back trails up in the bush country anymore, and that was something he loved to do. So he got a little Kawasaki 100. But after a while he got bored riding by himself, so he nagged me until I found a bike. And I found this one. It's a 1976, but I bought it in 1990. So it was still new enough you could get bits and pieces real easy, but the guy who had it before me wasn't kind to it. In adjusting the carburetor, he had broken a number of the fittings, he had damaged the housing, throttle linkage was messed up, so I had to fix it and get it back in shape. And my staff at the company I worked and managed at the time, for a birthday present, recovered the seat, polished up, and looked real good. From that time on, the bike had a lot of hard work. I rode it from 1990 every summer, every weekend with my father-in-law, right up until about the year 2000. And at that point, he could no longer ride the bike anymore, given his age, which was really unfortunate. And they had sold their acreage up in the bush country and just didn't have any place to ride it, so it got put away. So it sat from then till we just dug it out. It was a good old bike with lots of memories, so I never wanted to get rid of it. Figured I'd always get around to it, and finally found a good excuse to do it. And now I've got a cool old bike again. Point being, just because something's a little old, needs some work, doesn't mean you can't do it. And you can't do it with regular tools, and you can't do it on a budget. This bike will never be perfect. It's not a restoration. It's a good rider, and that's what I like. Powerful, fun to ride, goes through the bush like a bat, through the fields. It's a neat old piece. So she's done. For the 20, 30 bucks it cost all up, who cares? And now I have something I can do with my son. You can do the same kind of thing. All it takes is finding the right project, taking your time, working through it. I had the manual with me the whole time in case I forgot something or messed something up. And it's turned into a really good ride. So that closes off our Suzuki project, and this will be coming out on Saturday for you. The next piece on Monday will be coming out a new portion of BS and bench racing. We're going to be talking about some different stuff altogether, and we'll move right along from there. So for now, hit like, subscribe, and notify. Tell your friends if you're enjoying it. Tell me if you're not. I'm always open to critique, tips, suggestions. I need more input in order to make things that are of interest, not just to me, but to you. So until then, from Real Builds, have a heck of a weekend.